Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, Ireland's only answer to Harry Kane. And we're back with the grey-haired gang, bringing you all the way through the 80s. And we are joined by Philip, Simon, and Arthur. Philip, how are you keeping, my man?
Yeah, great, David. Great. Looking forward to this. It was an interesting decade for the Spurs.
Yeah, look, there's a hell of a lot to get through. I didn't realise it was as busy as it was. Simon, how are you keeping, my man? Of course, you were at the We Are Tottenham TV event last night. You hung over today?
I'm not too bad. I thoroughly enjoyed myself last night meeting up with the two boys. Two nice guys. Thoroughly enjoyed myself, especially with England winning. It was even better. But yeah, good night last night.
Yeah, look, it was a good night for you because England won. You know, it made it better. But for me, anyway, it wasn't a great night. Look, I was expecting England to win, and of course, Harry Kane getting the 2 goals, which shuts up the press over there as well. Getting on his back, it's as simple. You're providing chances, he'll take them. It's that easy. But Arthur, my man, how are you keeping?
I'm fine. Nice to see Philip and Simon again, and yourself. And the last night's game was really good. Cheered me up a bit. Cheered me up no end. And onward we go to the final.
Yeah, no, look, you have a difficult one to get by in the semi-finals in Denmark, Arthur. That'll be a tough one. But look, where we ended the last show, lads, was Spurs bringing in Aussie RD Ricky Villa, promoting the youth such as Mark Falcao, Paul Miller, Chris Hute, and Mickey Hazard, and then the signing of Graham Roberts, Tony Galvin, Garrett Crooks, Steve Archibald, and of course with Keith Burkinshaw in charge. But look, moving into the 80s, Spurs opened the decade in style, lads. With 2 FA Cups. But look, we'll start with the first one. They reached the 100th FA Cup final in the 80-81 season versus Man City. Philip, what do you remember of that FA Cup run?
The run itself, not a huge amount. I remember the semi-final replay against Wolves is probably the most memorable game, with Ricky Villa scoring that memorable 3rd goal. A foretaste of things to come. But the final, I have a reason for remembering the final. It's got really not a lot to do with the match. I wasn't long married at the time, and my wife's cousin decided to get married the day of the final. And I had a choice to make, so I didn't go to the wedding. That went down well. But during the game, I was in my mother's house at the time, and she had a rather low ceiling. And of course, the game was going on, and City were winning 1-0. It wasn't looking good. And next thing that deflected, Tommy Hutchinson, whatever, went into the back of the devil. I jumped up.
He scored their goal as well, didn't he? He scored their goal and then scored the own goal.
Scored the own goal. But when Spurs equalised, I jumped up, made contact with the chandelier, and made shite of it, basically. Chandelier bits, so that put me in the bad books with my mother as well as my wife. But then the replay is just the stuff of legends, really. I mean, it was such a up and down game, and we were leading, then we were behind. Then there was the equaliser, and then Ricky Villa's goal, which I still think is the greatest FA Cup goal ever. I mean, it's just sensational. And coming from a guy who trooped off in the first game with looking like he never played for Spurs again after his performance. It was just the stuff of Roy of the Rovers. It was brilliant, And then the celebrations afterwards. I don't remember the presentation when Steve Perryman was getting the cup. Some guy ran up beside him and said, sorry, mate, just kept going, I don't know who he was. He's obviously a Spurs fan, but he broke through the security to get up onto the platform when they were getting the cup, But it was great. I mean, it was something that team deserved. I mean, they really worked hard for us. And our own Tony Galvin being instrumental in the winning goal as well, added to it, with a little run down the wing and slipping the ball inside to Ricky.
Yeah.
So that
Tony Galvin, a good Irishman, of course.
Yeah, he's a good Russian Irishman. Yeah, very good. So that's me. That's really my record. I mean, as I said, it took a fair bit of TLC now to get round the wife when she came back.
I'm sure she forgave you fairly quickly, especially when we won the replay.
Yeah, oh yeah. She is a Spurs fan, so she really couldn't.
And did you ever replace that chandelier, Philip?
Yeah, oh yeah, had to. Oh yeah, absolutely.
No, look, you have to keep the women in the house happy, Absolutely. You have to. That's number one rule. We all know, happy wife, easy life. You know what I mean? Yeah. But look, Simon, what do you remember that FA Cup run and of course the 2 games, the first game of the FA Cup and then the replay?
I remember the semi-final pretty well at Hillsborough, where we drew against Wolves 2-2 in a half, in a very hard-fought game. And then obviously the replay at Wembley, where Ricky Villa, well, in the first game, in the 1-1 draw against City, I remember that because Ricky Villa got substituted. I remember him walking around the outside of the pitch with his head down because he had a bad game in that game where we drew 1-1. I remember Tommy Hutchinson scoring City's goal from a free kick to put City 1 up. Then I remember Glenn Hoddle scoring the equaliser from a free kick where it went off Tommy Hutchinson's shoulder and went in the first game 1-1. But I do remember Ricky Villa getting subbed. He had a terrible game. I can remember him walking around the outside of the pitch with his head down after being subbed, thinking, "Oh, wonderful. He's had a bad game. He's been subbed." But we managed to, we took him to a replay, and as you know, the replay was one of the best games we've ever had. Beating Manchester City, 3-2, and it's all down to Ricky Villa that day. I was quite surprised he got picked for the replay after the first game. We had a very poor game and he got subbed. But Ricky Villa, Steve Archibald, was it Garth Crooks scored? But do you remember the Ricky Villa goal? That was like Philip said, that was like one of the best goals ever seen at Wembley, if not the best goal in a cup final for us to win the cup final. But that was a great night, that replay. I remember it so well. As soon as the final whistle went, I was out in the street dancing up and down. It was a brilliant night, that replay, especially after the first leg, which after the first game we ended 1-1. We were very poor. We're lucky we got away with a draw. But the second leg, it was all about Ricky Villa showing what he could really do and scoring that superb goal with, like I said, Tony Gowton down the wing, cut inside. Ricky Villa got the ball, beat 2 or 3 players and put it away. That was brilliant. That's one of the best memories I can recall being a Spurs fan, when Ricky Villa put that ball away for us to win the cup. And like Philip said, lifting the cup up with that supporter jumping over with his hat on, grabbing Stevie Perryman and holding the cup. And, he was doing that to support. It was brilliant that night. It really was. But all I can think about is Ricky Villa with that wonder goal to win us the FA Cup. It was brilliant. It was a good night. One of the best nights ever, being a Spurs fan, watching Spurs beat Man City. But Man City also played well that night. I remember Steve McKenzie getting a superb goal for City from about 25, 30 yards. It was a superb game. I was just grateful Ricky Villa won it for us, because I knew Ricky Villa was a good player all along. He just had to, a bit of confidence, had to show what he could do, and he proved it on that night. It was good. Brilliant night. It really was.
Yeah, I want to go a bit more into the Ricky Villa goal, but I just want to get Arthur's thoughts on the FA Cup run, what he remembers of it, and then over to the final and the replay.
I didn't go to the semi-final. I missed that game, but I was there for the 2 finals at Wembley against City. The first game, this is only my opinion, that we didn't play very, very well, and it was the sort of a mediocre game, the first sort of game. But in the second final, we was behind the goal, what he scored that magnificent goal with, and going to Wembley that day, it just felt completely different. It just felt. Sorry, it was a night time, was it? Replay?
Midweek.
Yeah, the replay.
Midweek, it was a Thursday night, I believe.
Yeah. And there was a 100th Cup final as well, which made
it. Yeah. But going to that game, the second one, it just had a different sort of feeling to it. The whole journey up to Wembley was just incredible. Everybody was on a high. All the tunes were full, and it was just incredible. And the game, like I said, we was behind that goal. And to see, did Ricky Villa score 2 goals that day?
Yeah.
He got the opened the scoring, and then he got the match winner.
Right. Yeah. But the match winner was, like Philip and Simon said, was just incredible. But to actually, I was lucky, I suppose, to actually be behind the goal, and I could see him wiggling in and out, And when the ball just went in, oh man, it was just electric. You know, the feeling you got to see a player score that kind of goal, and he, you know, because he left 2 or 3 defenders on their bums, you know, and he still had the ball. It was glued to his feet that time. He could, you know, he just couldn't lose it. And then I think Joe Corrigan come out to him. Was I right in thinking that Joe Corrigan sort of come out?
Yeah, it was off to Corrigan. It deflected off his shoulder.
Yeah, and you know, he slipped. You know, he just put it into the net, and that was it. The whole place just erupted because.
And what was the atmosphere like that day, Arthur?
Oh, incredible! You could cut it with a knife. You know what I mean? To the first game, to see Ricky Villa, like Simon and Philip said, seeing him walk off round the touchline, you felt for him. You know, you really felt for the man. You know, his sort of head was sort of down. He wasn't looking at anybody. He sort of just been looking at the ground, and you felt really sorry for him. The way he walked, he was, you know, his whole body told you how he felt. But when he scored that goal, the atmosphere was just incredible. The whole day, the whole journey, that night going to the game was just incredible. You could feel the atmosphere. And the atmosphere when he scored the goal was just, well, it was unbelievable. You know, to me, you had to be there to feel it and to see the goal live, you know, in person was just out of this world to me. It was just out of this world, you know.
Yeah, incredible memories.
But I didn't see the person jump up in front of Stevie Perriman when he picked the goal up, the cup up. I didn't see that. I was still jumping up and down and everything like that, you know.
Over so quickly, it lasted a couple of seconds only. It was only the TV caught it, you know.
Yeah, TV caught
it. Right. Yeah. But then to see him pick up the cup, walk down the stairs and walk all round the ground was just, well, it choked you, you know what I mean?
I well believe it.
Certain supporters and all that were crying, you know, they was really choked. I was choked, you know. I suppose I had a few tears in my eyes as well. But the emotion of the day, the night, winning that was just incredible.
Yeah. No, incredible memories there. Incredible memories. Look, we'll take a few comments here. We have Adam. He says, "Big up the guests. Wishy luck. Those names Dave just mentioned are iconic." Killian Kenny says, "Hello, David. It's hard to be on Matt Hayes' Tottenham blog. How are you today?" How are you today? Junior said, "Hello, my uncle is here." Big yourself up, Killian Kenny. Big shout out to you. I hope you're keeping well, my man. Adam says that goal against City will live forever. Yeah, it will. JRD says, "Loving these." Aglea Kakara says, "Ricky Villa's goal took my breath away. It was a goal to grace any final, and Wembley erupted, and he never ever seen such crazy and I've never ever seen such crazy celebrations." Big up Aglea, of course, an absolute channel legend. And we will be recording our Spurs story and putting it out very, very soon as well. So that'll be a very good one. And Dermot Miles, big up Dermot Miles. I hope you're keeping okay, man. Says, "Remember being at the 1991 FA Cup semi-final and final. I was only 4 or 5. I was taken to the 1981 Cup final." Big up, Dermot. Happy days, man. Happy days. It's not bad. It's not a bad one to get to at such a young age, my man. And Paul Brown says, "Nostalgia galore incoming." 100%, Paul. Big yourself up. Everybody that's watching, make sure you do smash a like on the stream, subscribe on the channel if you're new, and feel free to help support the channel through a super chat or a channel membership. Just for any of the younger people watching, you know, the first game versus City was at Wembley. There was an attendance of 100,000, and it did finish 1-1. Tommy Hutchinson scoring for City, and then you know, like the boys were saying, a deflected effort from a Hoddle free kick, and the game also went into extra time as well. But lads, an attendance of 100,000, it's not something you'd really see nowadays. That's a huge attendance.
Yeah. I think
a lot of standing then. There's a lot of standing. You could stand then.
Standing. Yeah,
it's all seating now. When it's all seating that you could stand then, so you get bigger crowds in at the time. You get 100,000 in then in the 80s at Wembley because you could stand. It was standing. You could stand, but now it's all seating. So the capacity.
The replay had a lesser capacity, I think, because it was a night match. I don't think there was 100,000 at the replay.
No, it was 92,000 at the replay.
Yeah, and there was some reduction for the nighttime game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, it was. And then, of course, the second leg then took place 5 days later, which ended up being on a Thursday night. It was the first replay the FA Cup final went into since 1970. Ricky Villa opened the scoring. 2 goals from City put City ahead. Then Garrett Crooks scores on the 70th minute. And then 6 minutes later, Tony Galvin passes to Ricky Villa. He beats 4 players, including the City goalkeeper, when he put it by him, to get the winning goal and put Spurs 3-2 ahead. The way he picked up the ball, glided by these players. I encourage everybody to go and check it out. The goal is up on YouTube. Just type it in and you'll see it. What an absolute goal. I remember my old lad always telling me about the goal. And that goal, lads, I don't know if you know, was actually voted Wembley Goal of the Century in 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can believe it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
And of course, winning that game, Spurs pick up their 6th FA Cup. What more do you want? You know, a great start to the decade. We'll just take a few more comments here, guys. Kevin Marr says, what about the semi-final replay at Highbury? 30,000 Spurs fans up in the North Bank.
Yeah,
that was a good night.
Were you there, Simon?
No, I watched it on TV. It was easy that night. Took Wolves to the cleaners. I remember Ricky Villa's 25-yarder at the clock end.
Did they wreck the stand, no?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was a very good night. It's Ricky Villa that night as well with his superb 25-yarder at the clock end. It was good. Wolves. We definitely gave Wolves a good tonking that night. 3-0 in the replay. Yeah.
Was that? Because I went to one Highbury game against Wolves. Did we ever play Wolves? I could be wrong. Did we ever play Wolves in a semi-final there for a European Cup or anything like that?
No.
Molyneux. We played Wolves at Molyneux in the UEFA Cup in the 70s.
No, this was the replay then, because I went to Highbury that night with my mates. I shouldn't really say this, but a lot of people didn't have tickets that night because they was giving the gate man a few bob. Just getting in.
No, look, dead right.
His pockets were bulging.
Adam says here, that's surely one of the biggest attendance ever recorded for an FA Cup final. Golden Cock says, I feel like I need to get around my dad's and try again to get him on YouTube. He would love this. Big up the Irish Hotspur and all the guests for the stream. Big yourself up, Golden Cock. Tell him to tune in now. Tell him to watch it. Look, I'm a friendly guy. I've given all these guys a platform to come on and share their stories and everything else. And look, if he wants one, tell him to come on. I'd sit down and do a Spurs story with him. No problem. Aglaya says, Ardiles was instrumental for us at City. And Linkdar played tremendously. Ricky took inspiration from his Argentinian compadre to score that absolutely unbelievable goal to see Stevie lift the cup. Oh, my God. Philip, what do you remember of Ardiles' performance that day?
Yeah, he was. He was good. I mean, I think probably one of Ardiles' biggest pluses for that game was between the first game and the replay, how he got Ricky Villa's mind back to where it should be. Because, I mean, Ricky was probably feeling the world was against him after the first game. And I'd say Ozzy himself being such friends, it was Ozzy that got him in the right frame of mind. So no matter what he did on the pitch, I would class that as being his biggest achievement, is to get his mate back into the groove, if you like, to do what he did on the night. But that being said, Ardiles was like a masterclass. He was like a sergeant major on the ball, spraying it around here, there, and everywhere. He really was good that night. The whole team was. But Ozzy just stood out, and it was just a delight after him being probably making a fool of himself on top of the pops, in the cup for Tottenham,
Yeah, good. The song with Chaz and Dave, Ozzy's Dream.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. That was. I've seen that on YouTube recently, and my God, just feel, oh my God, like we can't have done that. You know, it was a bit embarrassing, but you know, they were doing things like that back in those days. Every team in the 60s and 70s and 80s had a cup final song.
Yeah.
I don't think it's happened now. You know, it's probably be a
No.
song or something now. You know.
No.
And of course, look, we had another song the year later as well. But just a couple more comments here, guys, and we'll get into the 82 FA Cup final. Stephen Cartwright says the win in the replay in the 81 final felt so special, especially after certain sections of the media accused us of being Southern softies. Any of you guys remember this?
The northern teams always thought they were harder than the southern teams anyway. You know, so probably that was just an ongoing thing. It'd been there for years. It wasn't specifically that game. It was just general trend.
General thing, Southern softies. Yeah, I remember that in the 80s. Southern. Yeah.
No, well, good. At least we bet them Northerners than Man City. You know what I mean? To put an end to that tag. Paul Brown says, feeling old now. First trip to the lane is in 85. Dave Tyson says, big up, lads. And Dermot Miles says, as a kid, they were the best days as a Spurs fan. I think the best day was 1984 final. White Hart Lane was rocking. But look, Dermot, stay tuned. We will be getting into that. But look, guys, 82, Spurs lifted their 7th FA Cup final again after another replay against QPR. The first I think it was the first non-league team in like 10 years to reach the FA Cup final or something like that. And you know, look, the first leg finished 1-1. Again, another attendance of 100,000. Glenn Hoddle scores with 10 minutes left of extra time, and then they scored with 5 minutes left, forcing a replay. Philip, what do you remember about the first game of the 82 final?
We were lucky. Very lucky. I think QPR were the better team that day.
Oh.
You know, I mean, it's not a game I remember that well, but I think QPR were, over the 2 legs of the 2 matches, I think QPR were a little bit unfortunate not to win the cup. I mean, I know we won it, and it's great that we won it, but it wouldn't be one of our greatest victories, especially against a team from a lower division, you know. And that's my main recollection of it. And then Terry Fenwick scored for them, didn't he? Come on to play for us after that.
Yeah, correct? He did. You're right. Yeah, he was signed. I think he was signed under Venables, was he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think that was it.
Yeah. No, what do you remember about Hoddle's goal that game?
In the replay.
No, in the first game.
The shot that kind of he's sort of falling over as he hit it, and it kind of looped into the bottom corner. It was about 25 yards out, wasn't it? About 20. As I said, my memory.
Definitely outside the area.
Yeah, it was a good goal. It was a good goal. Then of course he got the penalty in the replay. He went up with a penalty in the replay. But as I said, you know, I think it wouldn't be probably that is probably the match of all the big games in the 80s. That's the one I've got the least recollection with.
Yeah.
But for why? Because Spurs were expected to taunt QPR and they didn't.
Probably. You know, it's probably disappointing that they didn't. You know.
And just another quick question there, Philip. Why did the first leg why did the first game go in all the way to extra time, but no penalties to decide it? Why go into a replay? What was the thinking behind it?
See, at that stage there was no pressure on matches. I think deciding games by penalties wasn't really the forte. Okay, it may have been in World Cup games and that, but I think the FA Cup, I'd say they would have kept it going for 3 or 4 replays if they could, for the income from it. You know.
Yeah.
I don't think penalties were ever an issue in the FA Cup until recent seasons. That's only come in recent seasons. Certainly wasn't the case back then, you know.
Wow, yeah, interesting. And what do you remember the Tottenham squad recording the FA Cup song Tottenham?
Well, let's say it made the previous years one look like Bohemian Rhapsody. That's all.
Simon, what do you? Sorry,
that's all I'm saying on that.
That's quality. Simon, Mr. Cohen, what do you remember the first game?
Very drab, not like the year before against Man City. It was a big game, but Spurs weren't very good on that day. Queen's Park Rangers played, I think they were the better side. Probably got away with a draw thanks to Glenn Hoddle, but it wasn't much of a game. But we went to a replay, and it's Glenn Hoddle's penalty that won it. But it was not a very good game. But like I said, both games were not very good. But you know, Glenn Hoddle won us the, you know, the game in the replay with his penalty. But Queen's Park Rangers played, you know, not too bad over both legs, but it wasn't vintage Spurs on both games, but we won the cup. But it was nothing like the year before when we beat Man City over the 2 games. But it was another cup. It was like winning the cup.
You still celebrate as you did the year before.
Still celebrating, it's winning, you know, retaining the cup from the previous year, beating Man City. But it was nothing compared to, you know, obviously I was happy and jumping around as I normally do when we win a cup. But it was nothing like, no excitement compared to the year before when we beat Man City. But, you know, it was another cup win and you take it. But it wasn't that great, but we won it.
Yeah.
Thanks to Glenn Hoddle, you know, both games with his penalty in the replay.
Yeah. No, look, do you know, just hearing you talk about that, you know, you must be so spoiled for trophies, because I would bite your hand off for that right now. I really would. You know, you were so spoiled back then with trophies. So you were.
It wasn't like the '84, you know, when we're going to get to the UEFA Cup final in a minute, or the Man City one. It was, you know, we won. It's the trophy in the cupboard, in the trophy cupboard. It's the trophy, but it wasn't the greatest of cup finals, but we won it.
And just for anyone that, you know, you always see that meme going around that Tottenham's trophy cabinet is dusty. Look, it may be dusty, but there's definitely trophies in it. That's all I'm going to say on that. We'll take a few more comments. Hot God 10 says, brilliant managed by Keith Burkinshaw. Could have dropped him for the second round, but kept faith in him. And that's about the 81 Cup final with Ricky Villa. Eddie Ryan says, it was a Thursday night, like you say, it was brilliant. I was at it, but if you look closely at the goal, it looked at 1 second. I thought the ball was getting away from him. Yeah, look, brilliant goal. What can I say? It was unbelievable. I encourage every young lad to go and watch it. Killian Kenny says, hello, David. I'm on your channel. Big up, Killian Kenny. Hope you're keeping well. Oh, I'm back again. Don't worry about that. Sorry, don't know what happened there. Who else have we got here? We have Hot God 10 again says, watched Hoddle's last game at White Hart Lane against Oxford United. Did I lose it when my idol scored? You bet. I'd say you did. Spurs in the 80s and the 90s were fantastic. Big up, Killian Kenny. Peter P says, yes, lads, got to keep him, my man. Hot God 10 says, if Waddle had stayed, I reckon we could have won the first division. JC, good evening. I hope you're keeping well. And then we also have Caleb Mallon. Hi, how are you? I hope you're keeping well, my man. But Arthur, look, what do you remember the first game of the FA Cup final in '92?
It's like the boys said, very drab game. You know, wasn't much excitement. You're talking about the first game?
Yeah, just the first game.
Yeah. Because I wasn't there for this, you know, the replay. But as I say, the first game, it was very, very drab, very boring. You know, I found it quite, I know I shouldn't say it, but I found it quite boring. And like Philip says, Queen's Park Rangers were the better team on the first game. So no, I can't really say much about the final because I wasn't there. I was working away a lot of that time in that year. Yeah. So I didn't see that one. So I can't give my opinion on it. I can only go by what my uncle said, that, you know, they were a bit lucky. So, but it wasn't like Simon said, it was a cup to put in the trophy cabinet.
Yeah, well, of course. Look, it did go into a second game as well. You know, again, we bet them 1-0. Roberts winning the penalty and Hoddle scoring the penalty. What do you remember the second game, Arthur?
As I say, I didn't see the second game because I was working away. So I can't really say, because I never saw it live. I only got told what it was like by my uncle, you know, who went. So I really can't give my opinion on that. You know, but if it was something like the first game, was it a drab game? My uncle said it was a sort of a drab game. So that's all I can say about it, David. Really?
No worries. And look, Simon, what do you remember about the second game?
Can I say one thing? Yeah. To like Simon when he said it was, like you said about the 100,000 standing. That was all right till you wanted to go to the toilet, but you tried to get.
You didn't want to be down the front. You didn't want to be down the front. You needed to go for a Jimmy Riddle, I tell you.
Sorry.
You wouldn't want to be down the front in case you needed to go for a Jimmy Riddle because you wouldn't make it in time. We're just trying to get
Oh
to
no,
it. No. You'd
It
take
was.
like a milk bottle with you or something.
Yeah. Because that's what a lot of people used to do, didn't they? Take a bottle with them.
You go down the front needing the toilet because you wouldn't make it in time.
They used to take a bottle with you.
That's right. Oh yeah, I remember. So a lot of people done that. I remember. A lot of people were doing it, standing. Yeah. Remember. Wasn't me, but I did see him doing it.
Absolute animals.
Yeah.
But look, Simon, what do you remember about the second game?
Well, nothing. Spurs were very ordinary that day, David. It was nothing really, nothing. Well, it's all down to Glenn Hoddle's penalty with Roberts being brought down and Glenn Hoddle putting a penalty away. It was just a drab game. But as I said earlier, it was a cup. It was another trophy that we won. Another string to the bow, but it was like I said, it was a nothing game, 2-0 games playing Queen's Park Rangers, nothing compared to the Man City game. But in the end, we won it. So a win's a win. It's a cup. It goes down in history. Won the FA Cup in '82, but it wasn't a great game. Both games wasn't much, but we won it. You take it.
Yeah. And Philip, have you any memories in particular from the second game?
This mightn't be a memory. It's more. I'm thinking out loud. If this was the case, why did we play in yellow that cup final? Because QPR played in red, as far as I know.
We lost the toss, didn't we? We lost the toss.
Yeah, but they played in red. We could have easily played in our own kit. It wouldn't have clashed with the red kit.
Perhaps the ref was colourblind or something.
This is the only cup we've won not wearing white shirts.
Yeah. If Spurs played in a cup final, they have to play in all white, as far as I'm concerned. Spurs playing all white in a cup final. I'd like to see them playing all white.
I'd like to see them white full stop, actually, to be honest.
I love Spurs playing cup finals in all white, what they used to do.
It looks the part, doesn't it?
Looks the part, the all white, none of these yellows and all that. I can't stand those.
But we know you love white boots, Simon. You used to run around in white boots in the 80s and the 70s. We know you love the white boots. Take a few more comments here before we move on to the next part, lads. Aglaya says Hoddle's free kicks in the 80s were class. DMT says big up, David, big yourself. Calum says, I hope you all are well. We're all good here, lad. Paul Brown says, as Spurs fans tend to look through rose-tinted glasses, great proven players, Mabit, Teddy, Lineker, Gaza, Jurgen, Ginola, Berbatov, Keane, Modric, Bale, Keane, Son, Ndombele, etc., but never the complete. I'd agree with that. Eddie Ryan says, watch the reaction of Garrett Crooks when Ricky Villa scores that goal. And Aglaya says, say it as it is, Arthur. DMT is loving that England won. Big yourself up. And Aglaya says she remembers the yellow kit. JC, Glenn Roeder, IRP, and Peter Hooker were immense for QPR that first day. 100%. I think Glenn Roeder was actually suspended for the second leg, if I'm correct. And Cody Mack says, yes, guys, how are we? Great panel as always. Big up, Cody Mack. Big up. He's a big fan of you guys, so he is, lads. But look, the 82 season, it was actually a very good season for Tottenham, of course. Like we said there, winning the FA Cup. But we also finished fourth in the league. We lost to Liverpool in the League Cup final and lost to Barcelona in the semi-final of the Cup Winners' Cup semi-final. So all in all, there was a lot of football for you guys to be watching and, a pretty good season. Philip, what do you remember from the rest of that season with the league, the losing to Liverpool in the League Cup final and going out to Barcelona, swelling the Cup Winners' Cup?
Liverpool. I know we lost to Liverpool in the. I think we were leading 1-0 in that game and lost.
Steve Archibald scored in 10 minutes.
After extra time, wasn't it, or something like that?
3-1 extra time. Yeah.
The biggest recollection of that season was that disgraceful antics of the Barcelona team when they played us in the Cup Winners' Cup. I mean, they kicked lumps out of Spurs. It wasn't the Barcelona that we know today that plays football. These guys could have played a match without a ball. They were that rough, and referees seemed to let them get away with it. I mean, it threw me back to the '62 semi-final against Benfica when we were robbed. by a dodgy offside goal and a bent ref. But Barcelona were a disgrace during that semi-final, as far as I can remember. You know, it really turned me off them.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you fell out of love with Barcelona then in '82.
Oh, until Messi came to them, yeah.
What do you remember that league campaign?
Yeah, the league campaign was good. It was steady. I mean, we were always there or thereabouts. You know, there was a good steady run of results. I'd say it was probably our league-wise our best season since coming back up from Division 2.
Yeah,
and it was a continuation of the good work Keith Burkinshaw kept doing season after season. He improved the team. He brought in players that were very good Spurs type players. And to come fourth in that league was a fairly good result. I forget who actually won the league that year. Was it Liverpool? Probably was.
Couldn't tell you.
I think it was. Yeah.
I'll tell you how I know that, because I actually got to Wembley for the Charity Shield against Liverpool in August that year, when we got beat again. But anyway, that's another story. But yeah, it was Liverpool won the league. So I mean, they had the likes of the May. That was the Liverpool team of the '80s. You know, not Ray Clements. We had him at that stage, but you know, they were some team to beat.
Yeah, and JC says Clements made some howler in that semi-final versus Barcelona.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he let us put his hands up like that, and the balls went straight through into the net. You know, it was
not good enough. But look, Simon, what do you remember of the league campaign, the League Cup final loss, and going out in the semi-final of the Cup Winners' Cup?
League Cup final, we nearly won it against Liverpool. Unfortunately, we lost 3-1 in extra time. Steve Archibald put us 1-up in about 10 minutes. And then I think Ronnie Whelan scored for Liverpool towards the end of the second half, about 5-10 minutes from the end. It went into extra time and we lost 3-1. So that was very disappointing. Regarding the league season, we had a pretty good season. Like Philip said, we came about fourth. We put a good shift in that season. It was a pretty eventful season. We've done pretty well in the league that season. But regarding the other cup with the Barcelona, I remember Spurs got absolutely kicked off the pitch, especially at White Hart Lane. It was a terrible night. It really was. But overall, that season, we won a cup. Unfortunately, we lost against Liverpool. We had a good league season, so it was pretty good in one way and pretty bad in the other way. But I was pretty disappointed in us losing against Liverpool, because there's only about 10 minutes to go when Liverpool got the equaliser through Whelan. And unfortunately, we lost, in extra time 3-1. But we won the cup that season. We had a pretty good league season. But there was, like I said, the disappointment was losing against Liverpool, and also a bad taste in my mouth when we played Barcelona over 2 legs. Well, exactly, just kicked us off the pitch. Yeah. It was that was disgusting the way Barcelona played against us that time. It was terrible. It got very bad press that game.
Yeah,
the way Barcelona's played that night against us, it was terrible. One of the worst I've ever seen a team play against us, Barcelona.
And look, I know you said we're disappointed after the League Cup final and, going out to Barcelona and pissed off with the way they handled it. But if you look back on the season, though, Simon,
it was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah.
Great league campaign. Yeah. Getting to another cup final and the semi-final of European football has to be a great season when you look back on it.
No, as I said, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. It's just a bit disappointing. Liverpool were a very good team then when we played them. It's just a shame. I was gutted. We just couldn't hang on for the last 10 minutes, and unfortunately, Liverpool got the equaliser, and then we lost in extra time. So that was a cup we lost. But yeah, we did win the cup final against Queen's Park Rangers, which was good. But the Barcelona game was terrible. But overall, came fourth in the league, as we know, which was pretty good. Overall, yeah, it was a pretty good season. It was more good than bad, but it's just a shame. A bit disappointed with the Liverpool result, because they were a very good team, and we had, we near enough done it, but they got the equaliser and they beat us in extra time. But yeah, overall, it was a pretty good season. One of the better seasons we've had. So,
and you seem very bitter towards Barcelona. Have you ever been to Barcelona?
No, never been there. No. Now Barcelona, like I said, well, they were, under Guardiola a few years back, they were the best team in the world at the time. They played superb football. But then, back in the 80s, what they done to us that night at White Hart Lane, especially, was terrible. The way that we got kicked off the pitch.
And Philip, have you ever been to Barcelona?
I have, yeah. I was there 4 years ago. I had a chance of doing the Nou Camp tour, and out of deference to my club and remembrance to 1982, I refused. I wasn't giving them any money.
No.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. That's what I want
on,
to hear. Committed
I
to
was,
Tottenham. That's a
I was
brilliant
actually
story.
on the bus and I forgot to get off. I was going to do it. But,
And look, Arthur, look,
yeah.
same question to you. What do you make of that season as a whole? And what do you remember from the League Cup final, the league run, and going out to Barcelona? Do you feel as aggrieved as these two boys here?
Oh yeah, yeah. The season we were improving under Burkinshaw, and that was a good, in my opinion, it was not a bad season for us. Getting better and better. And the Barcelona game, like I agree with Philip and Simon, especially Philip. They weren't playing with a ball; they were playing with our feet. You know what I mean? And our legs. They thought our feet and legs was the ball. And to see Barcelona play there to that night was just incredible. How horrible they were. They didn't show no intention of playing football. They just wanted to kick us off the park. But I don't
maybe
think
they were
anybody...
listening to the press talking about the soft Southerners.
Yeah. Oh well. But I'll ask these two other boys there. Did any Barcelona player get sent off at White Lane?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't.
There was
I
a
think
few yellow cards, but nobody getting sent off.
no, and some of them are real dangerous sort of kickings, weren't they? And
They got away with a lot that night, especially at White Hart Lane.
There was a lot of spitting and hacking off the ball, blocking off, and that. It was
in today's game they would have lost half their team that night. But there you go. It was a terrible night, really. And like the both boys said, the Liverpool, we just couldn't seem to hold on for that last bit.
10 minutes.
But I think another reason that maybe the things didn't go quite right. I mean, for the most of that season, up to about March or April, Spurs were in the hunt for 4 trophies.
Yeah,
going for everything. And it had an effect. There was injuries. That maybe the squad wasn't quite as big as it should have been. So I think to do what they did, to come up so close to winning more than one trophy, was a great effort. It really was.
Oh yeah. It was a great season for us. As I say, as like you just said, Philip, in the hunt for so many trophies, playing good football. Just one of those horrible things, that we couldn't get over the line at Liverpool, but that's the way it goes sometimes, That's the way it goes.
Possibly why they didn't play as well in the cup final. They'd lost the other 3 trophies they were going for, and the cup final was the FA Cup was the last hope, and I'm sure that was playing in their minds. Are we going to go through this season with nothing?
Yeah,
it could have had a psychological effect on them, But fair dues, they won it. But,
yeah. But as I say, and like the other 2 boys said, the Barcelona game, the way they played just spoilt it. It just spoilt the game. Just spoilt the game completely.
Look, they don't look. I get where you're coming from, but they done whatever they had to do to win the game. You know what I mean? And some would say that's the signs of a great team. But look, I know where my outlet gets the hate of Barcelona from now as well. So it's definitely from that. Cody Mack says, where do these lads rate Burkinshaw and all-time managers? Cody, I will be getting onto that in a little bit. So just hold that question, my man. Agley says, those Barca players were spitting at our players and using such dirty tactics. Where did we finish in 82? We finished 4th, my man. 4th. Kevin Murray says, who came after Burkinshaw? Peter Shreves. ABCD says, West Brits. Okay. JC says, Burkinshaw, if this is failure. I want more of it. Yeah, 100%, man. I'm telling you, we're starved now. Paul Brown says Liverpool at their finest for that. Aglea hates Barcelona too. And Adam says, if it was today's standards, 82 is a fantastic season. It is.
Yeah.
And Aglea says, in that League Cup final in 82, Souness was a dirty sod.
Yeah.
So big up. But look, I suppose maybe we could put a different spin on the FA Cup final now, is that, they suffered heartbreak in the Cup Winners' Cup, suffered heartbreak in the League Cup, and maybe it was just about getting over the line, and getting that trophy, because, after going out 2 cups, especially in the final and semi-final, you start to think, is it not our year? But I suppose getting over the line in the FA Cup now, we could probably put a different spin on it, and it was just about getting over the line and getting that trophy in the cabinet and retaining it. I think retaining it as well was the first time it was done since we'd done it in the early 60s, I think.
62, yeah, early 60s, yeah.
Cheers, lads. I'm telling you, you're teaching me, lads. You're teaching me all the history as we go through this. But look, 1980, lads, Spurs began to redevelop White Hart Lane, demolishing the West Stand and rebuilding it. It took 15 months to complete. But costs overran from 3.5 million, which was the estimate. It came in at 6 million. And that, combined with rebuilding the team on return to the top division, resulted in financial difficulties for the club. Philip, what do you remember about this? Do you remember much about this? How it came about and stuff like that?
This is a part that I would take specific interest in. Around the start of as you say there, they started to redevelop the West Stand, and they were putting in corporate boxes, which wasn't really a feature of clubs up till that stage, But there was a boardroom rift between a guy called Richardson, who was the chairman, and a Sidney Wale, who was a former chairman. Now, this is where Irving Scholar smelt possibilities. The Scholar was a young property developer at that stage.
Yeah.
And he bought up, between buying shares, he bought 25% of the club for about 600 grand.
Yeah.
Which is not for nothing. And with the help of another guy, I think his name was Paul Bobroff.
That's him.
He bought 15% of the shares from a previous chairman of the club. So between the two of them and jigs and reels, Scholar took control of the club in December 82. But at that stage, the overruns on the stand, as you mentioned there, were starting to hit in. And he took over debts of, I think, 5 million at the time, which was by far the largest of any club in Britain. And at that stage, then, a natural progression from taking over the club, he put them onto the stock exchange, and the Spurs were valued at £9 million, which seems absolutely nothing today. But that was the start of the financial trouble that kicked in the 80s. Yeah. And absolutely did not disappear until the very end of the decade. In fact, it was 1991 that the financial difficulties were ended. I mean, Scholar taking over probably got rid of a lot of the old, I don't know what you'd call them. They've been Spurs directors and chairmen for maybe 40, 50 years. He brought a bit of a fresh impetus to the club. But what went on in the background was instrumental in Keith Burkinshaw's famous quote, "There used to be a football club in there." Yeah. Because he was going on in the background. So that was that. If there was social media in those days, this would have been one of the biggest stories that there was. But obviously, it was only some journalists that maybe got into the background and got some of the detail. We even got to know about it.
Yeah.
So that was
100%. But look, we'll touch on more of the later bit going into the later 80s. But look, Philip broken down absolutely perfectly, my man. Absolutely perfectly. And that's when it started coming to light was 82 heading into 83. Broken down perfectly. What did you make of the rift going on in the boardroom at the time between Sidney Wale and Richardson, and then Scholar taking advantage of that?
I don't know what the rift was about. I mean, it could have been about too many sugars in his coffee or so. I don't know. I don't know what the rift was about. Possibly one family trying to become more powerful than the other. It's probably a power thing. But Scholar was only about 30 at this stage, 35. He was very young. I looked him up the other day. He's still only 74. So I mean, this was 40 years ago. He was one of these new entrepreneurs that was hitting the London financial scene at the time, and he obviously had a great affinity for the club. I'm not saying he didn't, but he also saw it as a way of making money. And I don't know whether he did or not. I doubt whether he did over the number of years that he was in charge. Because there was, as we'll hear later on, this was only the tip of the iceberg when it came to financial problems. The 5 million,
it was.
5 million was a lot of money in those days. Still
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, it was. It was. It was. Sure, it was the biggest debt in English football at the time. 5 million was, and of course, you know, Scholar was. He transformed from. It was one of the first chairmans to kind of, along with David Dean, and I think it was Edwards at the time at United. Along, they were the first sort of three chairmans to kind of turn the clubs into a business and use commercial principles to the running of a club for the most financial profits. To maximise the financial profits. He was kind of along the first ones to do that. And that's where Tottenham kind of went into the new era.
They say that was one of the sort of the precursors or the germ of an idea for the Premier League, which came in '92. So, you know, Scholar could be credited with that as one of the saw the foresight of what has happened in 1992 with the Premier League. You know, so he was gone at that stage.
Yeah. 100%. And Simon, what do you remember about it? Were you upset? Were you annoyed? Pissed off? Were you surprised?
Well, everything really. It wasn't good. This was the start of bad things to come for a few years. But Philip summed it up very well, so I can't really add to that because Philip knows more about it than me. But all I can say is thank God for Alan Sugar coming in and buying Spurs at the time when we got into 1990, because we were in a complete mess. Like I said, we're about 5 million in debt, which was about the highest at the time of any club in the country, biggest debt going. But Alan Sugar came along and brought the club from Irving Scholar and managed to get us out of the what's the name, and we kicked on from there. But there's a few bad years towards the end of Irving Scholar's reign. We got into debt through him, but Alan Sugar thankfully got us out of it. But it did get very messy. It did get very messy for a few years, all for the wrong reasons. But thank God for Alan Sugar, because if it wasn't for him, God knows where we'd be. Yeah, and he took over the club, and we, as you know, we won the cup in the early '90s under his reign.
No, 100%. So, but that's going into next week's episode, Simon. That's going into next week's episode, man.
Irving Scholar took too much on, and he put us right in the mire. But we got out of it thanks to Alan Sugar. But Philip summed it up very well. I can't say more than what Philip said about the whole situation.
No, he did. He must have got the same. He must have done the same research as me. So he did.
It all turned out okay in the long run, thanks to Alan Sugar coming along and getting us out of this.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Arthur, what do you remember on these early signs of financial difficulty? Just from what Philip was talking about there, we'll go into it a bit more towards the end of the show, where it really, took its toll at the end of the decade. But what do you make of the early signs of financial troubles at Tottenham?
Well, you knew something was wrong, the whole feeling of it. But like Simon said, Philip has explained it so well. Yeah, well done, Philip. That was absolutely immaculate. Well done to you. I'll take my hat off to you, Philip.
We'll put a gold star on his chart.
Well, I'll put my hat on to you, Philip, not take it off, mate.
You always forget something. Yeah.
Where's my manners? I'm going to take my hat off to you, Philip. Yeah. Thanks very much. Top man. I'm going to keep it on now. I salute you.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Salute, Dave.
He's having an absolute whale.
Where's my manners? I should have started with my hat on, but thanks to Philip, what he said, I salute you.
Oh,
he's looked after now with the hats on, lads, and Arthur has one too. Look at it.
I'll bring it on.
Big up, Arthur. We're all looking dapper here now. We're all looking dapper. That's what we want to see.
We're warming up.
I'm telling you, lads, I'm missing out not selling these hats. Everybody's buying them lately. The whole Harris Army is buying them.
I've got this one instead. I hope that's all right.
I like the darker colour. I have to go and get one of them now myself, so I do. I like the dark colour now, I have to say. It looks well on you and Philip. Arthur, and you know what's brilliant as well? You two have the dark colour. You're over the same side. We have the light colours. We're over the same side. It looks good, boys. Peaky blinders. This is what this is. But
Arthur, I think we look like three granddads.
the Robert Redford, the Great Gatsby.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Arthur, have you anything to add about the early financial troubles?
Like I said, I can't really explain it no more than Philip has done.
No worries.
And like Simon said, thank God for Alan Sugar when he come in. You know, otherwise I don't know where we would have ended up. I honestly don't know.
We wouldn't have a club.
Philip, down the plug hole.
Yeah,
you know,
club could have went under.
Yeah.
Could have went under. Of course, you know, the FA Cup win saved us.
Yeah.
But look, we'll take a few comments. So, Cody Max says Scholar was ahead of his time in some respects. Shame how it ended, really. He was responsible for us getting fined and knocked out of the FA Cup final after Sugar took over. Paul Brown says, just press Levy's nose face against the trophy cabinet and ask him how he feels from history and heritage to Zilch. Look, you know, he's just copy and pasted Irvine Scholar's model, to be honest with you, just without signing a few players. Lionel Messi says, hello, lads. Big yourself up. Ronaldo's the goal. JC says Scholar was something else. Took over the Hummel. Yeah, I'm going to get into that as well. Delivered Wimbledon's centenary kit a year later. I know. Talk about making money everywhere they can. A great Kakaratis in the year we did the double. We played 42 matches, scoring an amazing 115 goals to win the league title. There you are, Arglay up there with the history. Derek Hutchinson, the reason we've not win the league that year, the stupid FA made us play 4 games in a week.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you remember that, Philip?
Yeah. Because of they were going in all 3 cups plus the league. I think there was I don't know whether the weather. Yeah, the weather was very bad in January '82, which caused a lot of matches to be postponed and to make them up. Now, I'm not saying we were the only club that had to play the matches a lot, but it probably hurt Spurs more because of all the competitions we were in. So we're playing catch up.
Yeah.
Ronnie Barker, yeah. Good one.
Yeah. Who's Ronnie Barker?
Ronnie Corbett, mate.
Do you ever watch Porridge on TV?
Oh, yeah.
That's him.
Yeah. JC says Philip has a Ronnie Barker vibe about him.
I like that one.
That's a good one. That's a good one. JC, if you have anything for Arthur and Simon as well there, you know, do you think they're like, throw them in? Aglaya Kakarata says, big up Philip, Simon and Arthur, the Spurs fan of the flat cap generation. Paul Brown says, Peaky Blinders in the house, and Pete from the Lane with the super chat. Thank you so much, man. Really do appreciate the support. He says, great show, lads. Love the series. Look, you know, all I do is host it. It's all about the boys here coming on, sharing the memories. It's before my time. I just do a bit of digging, a bit of research. I let the boys speak away. So it's all the boys, really. But thank you. I really do appreciate the support, Pete from the Lane. And, of course, had the pleasure of meeting you when I'm over. When I'm back over, look, you know, if you want to meet me for a pint or whatever, let me know. Okay. And Spurs Sick as well. Big up Spurs Sick. Everybody, make sure you subscribe to Kerrian's channel, boys. Great channel. Great guest as well on the fan show the other day. Says, absolutely love these shows, David. Big up Philip, Simon and Arthur. Bringing us young bloods, eyewitness history from the glory days. Legends all. No, look, and 100%, and this is what I was about, to be honest. I wanted to bring this series to everybody because I hear a lot of people, you know, oh, where does this sense of entitlement of trophies come from? You know, where does it come from? Well, this is where it comes from, our history. You know, we do have history around trophies, and I just thought it was important to bring this out, really, a series like this, and let everyone know that we actually do have a history. We actually did win trophies before and stuff like that. And as well, it's just great. It's a great way for Philip, Simon and Arthur to be on YouTube sharing the memories and everything else. And look, I wouldn't do it with anyone else. It's a great panel we have here. So big up Pete from the Lane and Spurs Sick for the support. Anybody else who wants to support the channel, feel free to throw in a few super chats, you know, and help support us. But thank you guys. Thanks so much for that. Where are we? Yeah, so we've gone over there. Yeah, so we've gone over everything. Philip's perfectly summed up, you know, Spurs being the first public PLC and going on the stock exchange and stuff like that and everything. So big up Philip for that. Really done his homework for this one, I have to say. So that's another gold star. That's 2 gold stars for Philip today. But look, lads, 84. We're going into the 84 season. Tottenham reached the UEFA Cup final against Anderlecht, who, of course, were actually defending champions at the time. It was a 2-legged affair. The first leg finished 1-1 with Paul Miller scoring for Tottenham. And it was also in Brussels in Belgium at the time. Philip, what do you remember that game?
I remember we were actually living up in West Donegal at the time, and the
Oh,
TV.
nice part of the country.
Yeah, lovely. But try getting a good TV reception back in those days. And I remember only seeing the brief highlights of the first game, but the second leg was on TV. But the picture was like watching snow on the screen. You know, it was kind of make there's something there. You couldn't make it out. You know.
Yeah.
I watched that, and I mean, I think that one of the most exciting games. I still do not know how Ozzy Ardiles managed to hit the bar from 6 inches before Graham.
Yeah, I know. I agree. Yeah,
just on as a substitute, and he could have written another chapter in his history by scoring the equaliser in that game. But how he missed it, I don't know. But Graham Roberts was there to put it in, you know. But I remember the penalty shootout, literally not being able to watch it. I could not watch it. I was waiting on the crowd noise to know who scored, because it was so. And then when Danny Thomas missed the penalty, I said, "Here we go."
Here we go.
He missed the last penalty, didn't he?
He missed the last one, and then Tony Parks. And in fact, the guy that took the penalty for Anderlecht was Ida Goodjohnson's father. Remember, Ida Goodjohnson played for Chelsea.
Yeah,
it was his dad took the penalty.
Oh wow!
I thought it was Morten Olsen.
No, Morten Olsen was the captain. He didn't take the. He didn't miss the penalty. It was Goodjohnson.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they miss their first penalty that night, Philip?
Did they? We only missed one. So
no, Anderlecht. They missed their first penalty as well, didn't they? First and last.
So then it went down to sudden death, I think, and then they missed. Hang on, not right though. We missed one each, and then they missed. So we would have had to take another one to win it. So
no, I think they missed the first one. Thomas missed the last one, which would have won it, which meant they had their last one to take, and Tony Parks saved it, which gave us the penalty shootout 4-3.
Oh, maybe, yeah. We won anyway. We won anyway.
Yeah, no, that's the main thing. But look, Philip, please, you know, all I've ever seen is my heart being broken in a European Cup final from my generation. Please tell me and the younger generation out there what it's like to win a European trophy.
It was brilliant. I mean, it was just an amazing night to get over the line. Okay, probably not the way we would have wanted to do with a penalty shootout, but the fact that it was at White Hart Lane, the place was absolutely heaving. There wasn't a room left; it was packed to the rafters. And I mean, I remember seeing the reaction of the crowd when Graham Roberts scored, and there was this very elderly gentleman sitting in there. He must have been well in his 70s at that stage, you know, and he was up on his feet like that, you know, and it just summed up the whole thing. And he could have been a supporter for 60 years, going back to the turn of the century nearly. And there he was, seeing Spurs win the European trophy on his home ground. It's just one of those memories you'd have of the game, you know. It was great. It really was. It really was. The sad point was knowing Burkinshaw was gone after it. That was an honor.
And we will touch on that in a few minutes. We will touch on Burkinshaw.
Yeah, in fact, Steve Perryman didn't get playing. Or no Ray Clements, you know, due to injury or suspension or something. I don't know what it was. But
yeah,
Ardiles didn't play that night. Was he out in France at the time, Ardiles?
No, he came on as a sub.
Oh, he did? I thought he was out in France.
He was back at that stage. He was back.
I was okay. I thought he wasn't around at the time.
No, he was back. Yeah, he was back. But he wasn't the first team regular. He was kind of on the fringes of the team at that stage.
And as well, I read this. I don't know how true it is, but Anderlecht bribed the ref. I think it was 27,000 for the Nottingham Forest game. You know, they got a goal disallowed, and there was a penalty shout as well. You know, so he says I was delighted to beat the Cheats.
Possibly. I've heard that rumor, all right, but whether it's anything more than a rumor, I don't know.
No.
Yeah, interesting. Simon, look, what do you remember from the two legs? And of course, how happy were you to see Tottenham win a UEFA Cup, a European Cup, but also at home?
Oh, very pleased, very pleased. The penalty shootout. As soon as Danny Thomas missed that penalty, I thought, that's it, we've lost. But give the supporters the big credit they deserve. They got behind Danny Thomas, even though he missed a penalty. They kept on chanting his name just to keep on side with him. And like I said, Tony Parks with that brilliant save at the end to win us the cup. But like I said, as soon as I saw Danny Thomas miss that penalty, the goalkeeper saving it or whatever, I thought we've lost tonight. But lucky enough, we went on and won it thanks to that superb save by Tony Parks, where he pushed it aside, and we went on to win the trophy. But yeah.
And how did you celebrate?
I just remember Danny Thomas with his head down, missing that penalty. I thought we've lost. But, the boys took the rest of the penalties and put them away. And thanks to Tony Parks for that superb save at the end, won us the game. And it was good to be at White Hart Lane on Burkinshaw's last ever game. So it's a good way for Burkinshaw to go winning a trophy, especially being at White Hart Lane.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, keep Burkinshaw's last game, winning that at home as well. But how did you celebrate?
Well, a few drinks, a few beers that night. I was indoors watching it on TV, so I had a few drinks. So it was another good night. It's one of the best nights, like the cup final replay against Manchester City. It's two of the best nights ever. The City replay and the Anderlecht game where we won it at home, thanks to Tony Parks. That was another great night. Yeah. So it's good send off. I'm very pleased for Keith Burkinshaw because he's always been my favourite manager, and it was a good send off for Burkinshaw winning that cup, especially at White Hart Lane. It's thoroughly deserved. He was a superb manager, and he's a very nice chap, and he built a very good side. So it was a good send off. It was a good night. It's a superb night.
No,
shame I wasn't there to watch it live, but I watched it at home, and that was just as good. It was a good night.
Yeah, look, it's a night my old lad talks very, very fondly of, I have to say. We'll get through two more comments here, and then we're going to get Arthur's thoughts. I want to hear his thoughts on how he celebrated. Derek Hutchinson says, I saw the Wolves final at White Hart Lane in 72. It was a 1-1 draw. Big up, Derek Hutchinson. Hope you're keeping well. Kevin Maher, I was at the second round game at home to Feyenoord. Glenn Hoddle nutmegged Johan Cruyff on the halfway line. Pure genius. Yeah. Simon, do you remember this?
I was there at that game. I was sitting in Paxton Road, upper tier. I remember that. I remember Hoddle playing for Spurs that day and Cruyff playing for Feyenoord, and Hoddle stole the show. I remember that. I think that's when Cruyff was coming to the end of his career. But yeah, I remember that night. But I also remember quickly to win that trophy that year, the UEFA Cup, beating up Anderlecht. We played Bayern Munich in the quarter-final over 2 legs. Philip, do you remember that? We had to play. We got drawn against Bayern Munich in the quarter-finals over 2 legs that year. When the year we won the UEFA Cup, do you remember that? Just quickly.
I know we played Bayern Munich. I'm not sure if it was that year.
The reason being, I had 2 tickets for that game at White Hart Lane, Spurs Bayern Munich, the season we won it. And I was a computer operator at the time. I was on night shift. Well, I was doing the 2 to 10 shift. I had 2 tickets to go to that game, Spurs Bayern Munich at White Hart Lane. I was supposed to be taking my girlfriend, now my wife at the time. And I said to the shift leader, listen, any chance of me going early tonight, because I was on the 2 till 10 shift. I got 2 tickets for the Spurs Bayern Munich game. And he said, no, you can't go tonight. We're too busy. So I had to work my 2 till 10 shift. And I was hoping he could do me a favour, saying, away you go. We've got plenty of cover to do that shift for tonight. Away you go, enjoy the game. But I had 2 tickets in my pocket to go against the Munich game, and he wouldn't let me go and watch it. I remember that night. I couldn't go and see Spurs Bayern Munich, but I know we won it. But I was disappointed.
I'll be honest with you, Simon, I would have pulled a sickie.
Yeah, no, like I said, I was at work at the time, and I said to him before the when the shift started, I said, listen, can I shoot off early tonight? I want to go and see Spurs play. And he said, okay, at the time, then, about a couple of hours down the line, he said, sorry, we've got too much work on now, you can't go. And I wasn't too best pleased that night. See Spurs.
Look,
we beat Bayern Munich that night. We beat them that night, and we couldn't go and see him. I had 2 tickets in my pocket. I was disappointed I couldn't go and watch him because he wouldn't let me go.
If that guy is watching, you are a Scrooge for not letting Simon go to that game. Absolutely.
His name's Jeff Parkinson. I remember he was my shift leader. He didn't like me at the time anyway. I think he was an Arsenal fan. And he knew I was a mad Spurs fan, and he wouldn't let me go that night to see Bayern Munich play. And I had 2 tickets for me and my wife, girlfriend at the time, and he wouldn't let me go and see him.
There you are.
2-0, yeah. I was supposed to Paxton up the tier. 2 tickets. There was 2 free seats that night.
So far in the 80s, Simon has two enemies. That's Barcelona and Jeff.
And Jeff Parkinson, the shift leader. My shift leader, Jeff Parkinson, from the 84 season. Sod.
No,
we won it. We won it that year, so we won it.
100%. But look, Arthur, man, what do you remember the two games?
The first game, I didn't go over there to watch it. I think I was working that night because I can't remember much about that. But the replay, I was there.
Yeah,
I queued up
from the Spurs story.
I started queuing. I forgot to tell you that in the first story. I started queuing at 4:30 in the afternoon, so I could get into the enclosure. So 4:30, me and my uncle were outside the main gates. You know, the big iron gates. What was there? Was waiting there by the ticket office. There used to be a ticket office by the side before you went through the main gate, and we was waiting there since 4:30 till they let us in, so we could get into the enclosure, and then it just filled up.
I've heard a few stories about that enclosure, Arthur. I heard it was a good place to be.
Oh, it was lovely. And then in the end, they closed the enclosure before kickoff, and where we stood was, like I told you before, we was right in line with the goal where Phil Parkes made that save. You know, right in line. Yeah. He dived to the right to save it. Incredible. And like Philip said, I thought Ozzy Ardiles was going to take the roof off the net when he was like 6 inches away to bloody score, but he didn't. But it all worked out in the end, and the atmosphere once again was electrifying. You could cut the atmosphere with a knife again. It was, and then when it went to penalties, you know, you're biting your nails down to there, and you know, your hats are coming off and throwing them on the floor and all this stuff when they was there. But the save, he saved us that night. Phil Parkes diving to the right, pushing it away, fantastic. And then he ran away with his arm like that, you know, running away like that, right into the corner flag where he was, and all the other players come and jumped on him. Incredible. And I think we got home about 6 o'clock the next morning from that game. You know, we was just
the right night.
Oh yeah. Honestly, I don't know where we ended up really. I know we went into one pub, the first pub. The first one on the corner as you come out the gates underneath the clock tower there, the old clock tower. We went in that pub first, and then from there. I have not got an idea of where we ended up or where we went, but I know my uncle's wife gave him a bollocking when he come in at 6 o'clock in the morning.
No, look, I would have done the same thing, Arthur. You know, especially after seeing my team win a European Cup final. So we'll definitely allow that. But look, guys, we are going to go into a bit on, of course, Burkinshaw as well. You know, a bit on Burkinshaw leaving. And then, look, we're going to have to leave it there and do a part 2 because I have another recording I need to be at 9 o'clock. I didn't think it was going to take, you know, 2.5 hours because that's what it looks like it's going to take to get through the rest of this. You know, there's a lot more there. But look, Philip, on Keith Burkinshaw. You know, of course, before you mentioned before the final, it was a few weeks before the final that he was leaving. You know, it was basically disagreement with the board and becoming disillusioned, and that famous quote as well that you said. Where does Burkinshaw stack up with Tottenham managers? And you know, what are your memories of Burkinshaw?
Well, I mean, Burkinshaw came in as Terry Neal's assistant back in about 1975 or thereabouts. Took over when Neil decided that he'd done enough damage, I suppose, and moved on somewhere else, which I don't know where he went, but don't really care either. Burkinshaw had a rough time of it for his first couple of years. I mean, he survived which I think people were quite surprised that he was left in the job once the relegation season came along, because, I mean, that wasn't Spurs' way. He hadn't been out of the first division since 1950 odd. So, you know, it was surprised that he was left in the job. He stuck with it. He got us back. He pulled the rabbit out of the hat with Ardiles and Villa signings, which was, you know, really, really made his name for being an innovator. Of course, then winning the two cups was brilliant. Each season it went along, he was getting better and better. The side was strengthening, it was getting stronger. But then, as has happened in so many clubs and happened at Spurs, whatever he wanted, the board disagreed with. Now, I don't know what he actually wanted or what the actual disagreement was for. I suggest it's probably something to do with Scholar's takeover and various aspects of it. Scholar may, again, maybe the lads have heard this rumor. Scholar has always insisted that he had a verbal agreement with Alex Ferguson to take over at Spurs.
Yeah, I read that.
Now, maybe Burkinshaw got wind of this and says, "Listen, you know, I'm your manager. Now you're talking about bringing in somebody else." If Ferguson reneged on that, who knows what would have happened if Ferguson had come to Spurs? You know, it was God knows.
Don't get me started. Don't get me to start thinking of that now, Philip. Come on.
I know, but no, I think Keith Burkinshaw is a pragmatic, honest, straight-talking Yorkshireman who doesn't stand any bullshit. And I'd say he saw so much bullshit in this last while at White Hart Lane, and he said, "I'm out of here." Because I'm not sure, did he ever manage again after that? I think, did he ever go anywhere after that? I'm not quite sure.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. You must have really got a sickener of the whole thing when the night you win the UEFA Cup, you never manage a team again. That's a hell of a drop. So I have a great
somewhere to go out to, though.
It is. Oh, it is. Yeah, it is. I mean, as I said, I saw him recently on a video for Ray Clements' widow's dinner, and the man looks as well now as he did the night they won the UEFA Cup. He looks really well, even though he's 85 or 86. You know, a great time for Burkinshaw. I would place him. Okay, I don't know what Arthur Lowe was like back in the 50s. Like, Bill Nicholson will always be the manager for Spurs, my manager for Spurs. But I think I would say Burkinshaw would edge Pochettino purely on trophies won. Pochettino might have had better players at his disposal, or, you know, more excitement that we know about that is on TV every week. Back in the 80s, you didn't see every match. You only saw, you know, what was on the big match or match of the day. Whereas now every game is under the microscope. So I think he's the second best manager Spurs have ever had, and I have a lot of time for him. I really do. So that's
nice. Well, there you are, Cody. If you're still watching, Philip puts him down as second best. That's what he said there, second best after Mr. Nicholson. So, look, Simon, what's your thoughts on Burkinshaw, and how did you react to the news when it came out?
He's always been my favourite manager. Okay, Bill Nicholson was the greatest Spurs manager, but Keith Burkinshaw to me is my favourite Spurs manager, because what he done for us in the 80s. Well, I used to follow Spurs home and away throughout his tenure at Tottenham as a manager. Also bringing Ardiles and Ricky V over, that made a hell of a difference to us in the 80s, helping us win a couple of cups. The football we played, the team, he built and brought certain players in like Archibald and Crooks. It was a superb manager. You know, there's no airs or graces about him as a person. He's just a bog standard Yorkshireman, very quietly spoken, but he knew what he was doing. You know, getting a good team together, winning us a couple of cups, and I was just very pleased. You know, as I said earlier, him going out winning the UEFA Cup at home against Anderlecht, that was a very good send off. But to me, that was the best time of, you know, my Spurs life up till now, watching Spurs play under Keith Burkinshaw. That's when I do remember Spurs really winning trophies and playing some superb football, having very good sides. Like Philip said, yeah, but Pochettino, very good manager, had better players, but Pochettino didn't win nothing. So if I had a toss up between Pochettino or Burkinshaw, I'd say, well, Burkinshaw, because he won trophies. It was brilliant in the early 80s. It was superb. I'm just pleased he went out winning the UEFA Cup against Anderlecht, especially at White Hart Lane. It was very, you know, I know he had a few little troubles towards the end. He said, right, I'm out of here. I'm glad he went out on a kind of high while winning the UEFA Cup. It was brilliant. But hats off to Keith Burkinshaw. Thanks for the memories, Keith. Much appreciated.
Nah, lovely message there. And Arthur, Keith Burkinshaw, were you surprised with the news at the time? Did you see it coming? And where does he stack in your greatest ever Spurs managers?
I didn't see it coming. No, I didn't see that. Very, very good manager. Very good indeed. I agree with the two boys and Simon. Apart from Bill Nicholson, he's the best manager. Now I think I'm right in saying, boys, perhaps you could help me here. Or else I could be thinking of someone else. Did he always used to wear like a sheepskin jacket?
Yeah, brown one. Yeah, sheepskin. Yeah, with a white. What's the name?
White collar on it.
Yeah.
He always used to. Yeah, always. With the slick black hair. Slick black hair he used to have. The short black slick hair.
Yeah.
With the sheepskin. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. He always used to wear one of those coats.
Yeah, the long sheepskin, coat. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. But
black hair.
To win us the trophies that he did do was lovely. Was great. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have won so many. Old Keith. But like Philip said, and Simon, one of the greatest managers we had. Apart from me, the favourites for me will always be Bill Nicholson, but he's come a very close second to him. But it was just a shame that it ended when it did end. He played lovely football, which was very, very good. He brought the two Argies over to us, Ozzy and Ricky, which shot our performances and appeal upwards. Just by getting those two players in, we become household names because no one had ever gone over and brought two World Cup players.
Yeah.
When they played in the World Cup, I don't know if it was that year or the year before. It was the year before, wasn't it?
It was the year after the World Cup.
78 they came over.
Yeah.
78.
Yeah. So that was the incredible part on his doing. I don't know, but they kept it very quiet. I didn't hear much about they were going to go and buy him. Usually you hear something. But to bring those two players in was incredible. And sorry,
they kept it. It was deliberately kept quiet because they were scared of other clubs moving in and taking them.
Yeah.
So they went over to Argentina, and I don't know. He said he was going on holidays or going somewhere, but nobody copped on where he was off to.
No, that's what I thought. It was very, very quiet until it was announced that we bought them. It was announced then that we bought them. So
yeah, but sorry, go on. Sorry, Arthur.
So that was a cue on his behalf. You could never keep that a secret nowadays. Players only got a fart and they tell you.
Yeah. I think they had no work permits. They had to get work permits when they signed them, subject to getting a work permit.
Yeah, that's right. They had to get work permits. Yeah,
but sorry, Arthur. Originally, they just wanted to bring Ardiles over. They didn't want to bring Ricky Villa over. But as I said earlier, in one of the earlier shows, Ardiles says, "I'm not coming unless my mate Ricky Villa comes."
That's right.
Okay, you can bring him with you.
Yeah.
So things probably would have been a bit different in the cup finals. But thank you to Ricky Villa coming over.
Yeah,
it worked for us big time.
Yeah.
So
that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts on Keith Burkinshaw. Very good manager.
Yeah. My favourite manager. Sorry, boys, but it's been my favourite manager.
Yeah, and he played he played really attractive football, didn't he, as well?
We had a good team.
Yeah, a good team, and he played really attractive football. I think it must have been doing something to do with his sheepskin coat, what he wore all the time. So
I'll have to buy one there, won't I?
Yeah.
Look, next time I'm over, Simon, I expect to see you walking up to the game with your flat cap on and the sheepskin jacket. You know what I mean? Swagging it out. That's exactly what I expect to see.
Yeah.
But look, guys, you know, we've already been going on an hour and a half. I have another recording I need to jump onto for 9 o'clock. So look, we are going to have to do 2 parts on this. I was kind of expecting that anyway. That there's a lot to get through. So what we have done is, look, we brought through the good part of the 80s. Yeah, you know, up until the 84, start of the 84, 85 season. No, we brought you the best part of the 80s. The next show, we're going to bring you to, well, you know, the decline of Tottenham in the 80s, really, you know, and it's a sad decline. But Philip, you know, have you enjoyed today's show?
Yeah, very good, very good. Actually, just one thing, this is nothing to do with the 80s, but as a follow-up to the 70s show, just a couple of things we were discussing, and I found some interesting points. We said on his last show that Pat Jennings left on a free for Arsenal. They actually paid 45 grand for him. Still cheap, but we got him. And Bill Nicholson was given a 10,000 severance package when he left. That 10 grand. Ridiculous. But the funniest thing, I told you this one already, David. The 1972 final against Wolves, the UEFA Cup final at Molineux, the first leg was refereed by the infamous Russian linesman who gave the goal in the 1966 World Cup final. Same boy.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Sign off.
Hats off to you on that one, Philip.
Yeah.
It actually came up, I was watching a rerun on YouTube, and it said I recognise that name. I looked it up. That was the boy, same ref. He was still there.
Well, good one.
That's it. So that's me for this week. Hey, great show, David. Keep it going.
Keep it going, mate. Keep it there.
Look, we will keep it going, lads, because we have the 90s, you know, the 90s, you know, all the way up until 2020.
Skip the 90s, except for 91. Skip the rest.
No, look, whether it's good or bad, I want to pick your brains. I want to pick your memories. So I won't do that. But guys, why I asked Simon what he thought of today's show and get Arthur to plug his channel. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you do smash a like on the stream, subscribe on the channel if you're new, and why not send in a super chat to show your appreciation. But Simon, how have you enjoyed today's show, my man?
Hats off to you, David. Superb. Thanks very much. Thoroughly enjoyed it, boys. Salute.
Yeah, well done, Simon.
Well done, Simon. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Simon. You know, turning up even though you were at the Weird Tottenham TV event yesterday. You know, I thought you might be a bit hungover.
Yeah.
Fair play to you. You're trying
on the dance floor.
Yeah. That's what it's about, you know, enjoying yourself. And Arthur, have you enjoyed today's show? And look, you have your own channel, so why don't you tell where people can find it? I do have a description, the link for Arthur's channel in the description below. So if anybody has enjoyed what he's had to say, get over and show us some support and smash the subscribe on his channel. But Arthur, what's your thoughts and what can you see on your channel?
Well, at the moment, my channel's sort of standing still. You know, I wish people would subscribe to it more. They're not sort of subscribe. I have asking them, and I keep telling them it don't cost them nothing. But it just puts the channel a bit forward. But that's enough on that. You know, it's your channel.
No, plug your channel, lad. Plug your channel. It's your time, my man. It's your time.
Oh, it's Arthur on YouTube, and I talk about all different things. But you'd have to go and have a look at it and listen to what I sort of kind of talk about. You know, I talk about my feelings on other channels and how people behave and all that lot, you know, but that's just my thoughts, you know. But as I say, it don't cost you nothing to subscribe and like, and it would just push the channel a bit further, because I have got a few things in mind. But there you go. But David, thank you very much. Philip and Simon, I felt like I've met two friends now with you two. And I really appreciate your, I really appreciate your knowledge and everything about you two guys. I do really, and you, David. So thank you very much, you two. It's been a great night, plenty of content. And how Philip found out about Scholar and all that, like, I'll never know. But I'll take my hat off again to you, Philip.
Double salute.
No, thanks, lads. No, it's great. This is really enjoyable. This now, it's brilliant. We've got some great memories, you know, and it's great to be able to share it with people that, you know, might not be fully aware of the history of the club. So it's really good. Well done, David, for thinking of it. It's a great idea.
Shame it's going to get worse as we go through the decades.
Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah.
Look, the glory decades are over now, guys. They're over now. It's all getting worse. It's all downhill from here.
Worse now. Yeah, we'll wear black hats from next week onwards.
How to put a positive spin on the '87 Cup final?
yeah. Bring it on.
Look,
bring
guys,
it on.
We are going to end it off here. We'll be back for part 2 very, very soon. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I want to say a massive, massive thank you to Philip, Simon, and Arthur. You know, I'll let you in on a little secret. It's one of my favourite shows to do. I love sitting down. I love going through the Tottenham history. I love listening to your memories. And most importantly, I love the smiles on your faces and how much you enjoy it. That's what it's all about. You know,
you received my check then, Dave. You received my check.
No. Yeah, look, you should be charging me. You should be charging me for your time. You should be. No, but look, guys, it's what it's about. I hope everybody else has enjoyed this show. If you have, make sure you do smash a like on it. Subscribe on the channel. And look, I'll see you all back. I'll see everybody, the Harris Army, back here tomorrow at 9:30. I have a show with Jack and Nicky. You know, I have a lot of questions on Nuno for the guy. Jack is an expert on him, so I'm going to put the hard-hitting questions to Jack, and you know, so everyone can kind of get a feel of what to expect with Nuno going forward. But look, it's been great. I love these shows. And look, I suppose we're all going to end it off with a big "Come on, you Spurs!" So let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry. Yes, Arthur. Arthur has something to say.
Oh yeah, I'd like to say congratulations to my grandson. I call him Captain Josh because he's passed the very, very hard first parts of his exams to be a pilot. He's only 19. He goes to America soon to a major international airport where they just give him a 2-engine plane to get his solo hours in. He just flies wherever he wants to. So I'd just like to say, Josh, well done, mate. We're all behind you. Can't wait until the day you're in the cockpit of your first plane, because I'm going to be in one of the seats behind you. So thank you very much, David, for letting me say that.
No, look, a very, very proud man there, RTR. And look, from me and everybody else at the Irish Hotspur, you know, I want to wish you the best of luck as well, my man. And look, you know, make sure you enjoy the flying hours before it starts becoming a job. Make sure you enjoy it, my man. But look, we will end it off there, guys. And look, let's end it off on the big "Come on, you Spurs." So look, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. I salute you, Dave.